ก็สวัสดีนักเรียนทุกคนนะครับแล้วก็โรงเรียนปลายทางทั้ง3โรงเรียนก็คือโรงเรียนหนองแดนโรงเรียนราชประชานุเคราะห์ที่23แล้วก็โรงเรียนแม่สีหลวงวิชานี้เป็นวิชาคณิตศาสตร์นะครับวิชาคณิตศาสตร์พื้นฐานของม .1 นะครับก็จะมีครูสอนด้วยทั้งหมด3คนนะครับสอน3คนนะครับเป็นครูไทย2คนแล้วก็ครูต่างชาติ1คนนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นครูต่างชาติจะเรียนกับเราในวันจันทร์คาบที่3ส่วนจะเรียนกับครูไทยคือวันพุธกับวันศุกร์นะครับวันศุกร์เดี๋ยวให้ครูต่างชาติผมครูนรพัฒน์มีชัยนะครับเป็นครูสอนหลักนะครับเดี๋ยวจะให้ครูต่อคนที่2นะครับ
คุณครูชื่อคุณครูพรทิพย์นะคะนามสกุลธรรมลังกาครูจะสอนตอนที่คุณครูนรพัฒน์เนี่ยติดราชการหรือไม่อยู่เนาะนักเรียนก็จะเจอกับครูนะคะซึ่งพวกเราก็ตากพิษก็จะรู้จักครูแล้วเนาะโอเคอันนี้ก็ทิชเชอร์นะคะขอแนะนำตัวทิชเชอร์ต่อ
Hello, good morning, everyone. Okay, so again, my name is Jethro Madarang. You can call me Teacher Jeth, and I am from the Philippines. Again, I'll be teaching mathematics, basic mathematics. Okay, so for this pre-final course, so the chapter that we're going to discuss first is about the exponential numbers, which is you can see or read it on the screen. So we have exponential numbers, meaning everything that we're going to discuss is all about the exponents. Okay, I want you to get your notebooks so you can write down the vocabularies.
นะครับเดี๋ยววันนี้ก็จะเริ่มเรียนในบทที่3นะครับเรื่องเลขยกกำลังนะครับต้องให้นักเรียนเตรียมสมุดนะครับเตรียมสมุดขึ้นมาจดนะครับเพราะว่าทิเชอร์นี่เขาจะเรียนเป็นใน PowerPoint นะครับให้เรียนเตรียมจดนะครับเดี๋ยวครูจะมอบการเรียนการสอนในชั่วโมงนี้ให้กับทิเชอร์นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นนักเรียนทุกคนตั้งใจเรียนแล้วก็เรียนให้ทันนะครับโอเคนะครับ
Okay, so let's start. Again, everyone, can you please read this exponential number? Okay, so from the root word exponent, we're going to deal with exponents. So let's start, okay? So if you see that, we're going to express exponential numbers, okay? So when we say exponential numbers, so when a number is multiplied by itself a certain number of times, it can be expressed as exponential number. So for example, we have the number a times a times a times a, okay, up to infinity. So we will have, that is a to the power of n, where a is what you call the base number, and n is what you call the exponent. Okay? So, again, these are repeated multiplication, okay? And the number, okay, of, you multiply a number by itself, that would be the exponent. And this is read as a to the power of n. Remember. So if you're going to read an exponential number, this is a to the power of n. That's how you're going to read exponential numbers. Okay, I'm going to give you examples later. Okay, can I push it down? Okay. Finish. Just copy this and how to read exponential number, okay? No need to copy the other one. So again, okay, can we proceed now? Finish, right? So anyway, we're good. Anyway, next. So, no need to copy this. Any number expressed in exponential number can be written as repeated multiplication. So, let us have this one. Anyway, we have this. How do you read this exponential number? Can you please read the exponential number? That is 9 to the power of 5. Okay. Again, how do you read it? 9 to the power of 5. So our base number is 9 and the exponent is 5. Meaning, if we are going to write that in repeated multiplication, again, repeated multiplication. Meaning, we're going to put the number in repeated multiplication. So, if the base is 9 and the exponent is 5, we're going to multiply 9 5 times by itself. And so, if we're going to rewrite that, we will going to have 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. Since the base number is 9 and the exponent is 5, multiply 9 by itself 5 times. Okay? Do you understand? Okay, let us have this one. How do you read this? Negative 6 to the power of 3. Now, if we're going to write that in repeated multiplication, that would be, make it that repeated multiplication. That is, how do you write that? Negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6. Since the base number is negative 6 and the exponent is 3, you're going to multiply negative 6 by itself 3 times. Okay? this one. How do you read this exponential number? That is 2 to the power of 3. Now, again, this is an exponential number. If we're going to write that in repeated multiplication, that would be 2 times 2 times 2. Okay. You're going to multiply the base number by itself depending on the exponent. And since the exponent is 3, multiply 2 by itself 3 times. Okay, that's repeated multiplication. Okay. How about we have this one? How do you read that exponential number? Louder, please. Yes. Okay. Now, if we're going to write in repeated multiplication, that is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Okay? Multiply it 5 times. Now, earlier we have negative 6 to the power of 3, right? So that is negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6. How about I say negative 6 to the power of 3? Okay. The other one has parentheses, while this one doesn't have parentheses. How are we going to express that? Now, since negative 6 is inside the parentheses, that would be your base number, negative 6. But as for this, your base number is only 6. Meaning, if we're going to write it in repeated multiplication, that is negative times 6 times 6 times 6. Your base number is not negative 6, but positive 6. Okay? Since it is not inside the parentheses. Understand? Oh, I say I have this one. How do you read this? Please read this. Negative 4 to the power of 2. So if we're going to write it in repeated multiplication, that is negative times the quantity of 4 times 4. Okay? Do you understand? Okay, good. No signal. Okay, sorry. Okay, next. How about we have repeated multiplication? We're going to write it in exponential number. So we have here 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. That is the repeated multiplication. What is it in exponential number? That is? Okay, very good. This will be 7 to the power of Next, how about this one? 3 times 3. What is it in exponential number? Okay, that would be 3 to the power of 2. Next, we have 20 times 20 times 20 times 20 times 20. What is it in exponential number? 20 to the power of 5. Very good. Since you multiply 20 5 times by itself, you multiply 20 by itself 5 times, that's why we will have 20 to the power of 5. Okay? So again, you call this repeated multiplication, while this one is what you call the exponential number. Okay? Next, let us have finding the value of an exponential number. Okay, we say value. When we talk about value, we're going to find the answer. So, the reason why I teach you what repeated multiplication is for you to know how to solve exponential number. So, for example, we have 3 to the power of 4. Sound check. Okay, so we have the exponential number, and we're going to find the value. Okay, so again, we have 3 to the power of 4. We're going to find the value of it. So what is 3 to the power of 4 in repeated multiplication? Repeated multiplication, this is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, right? Now, if I ask you what is the value of 3 to the power of 4, you are going to evaluate it. Okay? What is 3 times 3? 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3, that is 27. Times 3, that is 81. Meaning that 3 to the power of 4 is equal to 81. The value of 3 to the power of 4 is 81. Okay. How are the students going to see that? Next. Can you see it now? Okay. I say we have 2 to the power of 5. What is the value of 2 to the power of 5? What is the value of 2 to the power of 5? Anyone? No, I'm asking for the value. If 3 to the power of 4 is 81, what is the value of 2 to the power of 5? That is okay, so what is the value of 2 to the power of 5? That is, yeah, anyone? What is Samsung in English? 32. Okay. Since 2 to the power of 5 is the same as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, you're just going to evaluate. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, and times 2 is 32. Okay? That's why we will have the value. Okay? So remember, 2 to the power of 5 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay? Which is the same as 32. Again, this is repeated multiplication. This is what you call value. Okay? Okay. And the exponent is 3. That's why we're going to write it in repeated multiplication. But then again, we're going to find the value. So what is the value of negative 2 over 5 to the power of 3? What is the answer? So we have negative times negative, positive, right? Times negative, that is a negative number. Next, multiply the numerator. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2, that is 8. Over 5 times 5 is 25. Times 5, that is 125. Meaning that the value of negative 2 over 5 to the power of 3 is negative 8 over 125. Okay? Do you understand? Okay. You finished copying, right? If you're done, I want you to answer the following. Okay? Get your notebook and answer the following.
ให้เรียนท ทำในสมุดนะครับแบบฝึกหัดทั้งหมด5ข้อให้หาคำตอบสุดท้ายคำตอบหาผลลัพธ์เลยนะครับ
always forgot. Anyway, 2 to the power of 6. Remember, 2 to the power of 6 in repeated multiplication is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So what is the value of 2 to the power of 6? That would be 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, times 2, that is 64. Okay? Next, negative 3 to the power of 5. So our base number is negative 3. Therefore, if we're going to find the value of it, so that would be negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. Okay? Those would be, this will be it in repeated multiplication. And so, negative times negative, positive. Times negative, negative. Times another negative, positive. Times another negative, that is a negative number. Then 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3, 27. Times 3, 81. Times 3, 243. And so our answer is negative 243. Okay, next we have 3 over 7 to the power of 3. If we're going to write this in repeated multiplication, we will have 3 over 7 times 3 over 7 times 3 over 7. And since we only need to find the value, let us evaluate. 3 times 3 times 3. So multiply the numerator first. We have 27 over 7 times 7 is 49 times 7, 343. So 3 over 7 to the power of 3 is 27 over 343. Okay, you got it right? Next, negative 4 to the power of 4. Now, as you can see, it's not like same as number 2, which has parentheses. So this one doesn't have parentheses, meaning that would be negative times the quantity of 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. And as you can see, the base number is not negative 4, but positive 4. And so we will have 4 times 4 is 16. Times 4, that is 64. Times 4, that is 196. But that is a negative number, since we have a negative outside. Okay? Who got it right? Who got it correct? Who got it correctly? No one? You're wrong, huh? Next, we will have negative times the quantity of negative 6 to the power of 3. So if we're going to write that, the base number is a negative number. So we will have negative, since there is a negative there, times the quantity of negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6. Okay? And so if we're going to simplify that, this would negative times negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36 times negative 6, that is equal to negative 216. And negative times negative 216 is positive 216. Okay? Who got perfect 5? 5. Very good. 4, 3, 2, 1. everyone got 0, right? Okay, so that is how you're going to evaluate exponential numbers. Did you understand it? Really? Understand. Okay, so since it's almost time, next week, we only have 1 minute, teacher. So next week, we're going to study the laws of exponent. So there are like 7 laws of exponent that we're going to study. And so be prepared. At least have an advanced reading. Okay?
วันนี้ก็เรียนเรื่องอะไรครับสรุปเนื้อหาตอนท้ายเรื่องเลขยกกำลังนะครับเลขยกกำลังพอได้ไหมได้เนาะเดี๋ยวไปทบทวนเดี๋ยวเจอกับครูวันพรุ่งนี้ไม่เจอวันพุธหยุดเจอกันทีนู่นเลยพุธหน้าเพราะนั้นเรียนไปทบทวนเพราะนั้นเลขยกกำลังไม่ยาก